My practice schedule changes an awful lot, mainly because obviously when I rehearse it will change, what I need to improve on will change, what I don't will change, but this is my most recent one that has been working really well for me. So first song that I rehearsed today was Girl Crush. This is a very slow song, quite a simple song, but these are the warm-ups that I use. I use All I Want, which helps me with my diction, and it's because it's a tongue twister. It helps my diction. It also helps my breath control, because as you go faster and faster and faster, and it stretches your diaphragm, and it really works. And I also use I'll Buy a Teapot, which is again diction and breath control, which is because Girl Crush is quite low in my register. The majority of the song is lower in my register, so I use breath control as a really big thing, because I don't want to run out of breath when I'm trying to do those low notes, otherwise it just won't come out at all. Then I also use horse blows, which are kind of self-explanatory if you've ever seen a horse blow its lips. And that helps with loosening up the jaw and loosening up the muscles in your face, which makes it a lot easier to pronounce your words and to really get those sort of get your sort of mouth around those words that you're trying to get out. Especially as this is a country song, you want to be able to be clear, because obviously I don't have an American accent. I want to be able to sort of be clear on the lyrics, otherwise it just won't sound good. It'll sound like I'm trying to be American, I'm trying to be Southern, and it just sounds awful. Yeah, some of the words and lyrics are quite, I don't know how to explain. They're quite I don't know. The rhythm is a bit off on some points of the song, so you'd go from the previous verse, which is fine, and then the next verse has a little bit of a change that you don't hear in the music, because sometimes you'd be able to hear a musical change and you'll be like, oh, I know what bit this is now, but it's all the same, so you have to make sure that you know what you're doing, which I do now know what I'm doing, but there's always, you can always get better and better and better at it, so you already know before you hear that, like, you hear anything, that's where it happens. After practicing today, I found that I was keeping the rhythm quite well, which is sometimes a bit odd. It was odd for me, because I hadn't practiced this song an awful lot, because I forgot about it. I forgot that it was in my set completely. So I was like, I swear I have 7 songs. I do, but I was only practicing 6. So the good thing about this song is that it doesn't stretch my higher register, which is something that I really didn't want, especially for this song, because of the lyrics and the rhythm. It's quite slow, and I don't want to have to run out of breath, or I don't want to take, gasps of air. It just won't sound good at all. But yeah, that means that because it hasn't got a higher note, that hasn't got high notes, that I need to make sure that my lower mid-range notes are just as powerful as any high note would ever be, which is actually quite challenging. I thought, oh, it'll be a doddle, it's just singing a note and it's fine, but actually, especially the low notes, they're not as easy to belt out as you would think. But I'm building up my strength in my vocals. I'm building and building and building, and now it's sort of at the same level as I would sort of expect it to be. So that is Girl Crush. That was what I warmed up with today. House of the Rising Sun. Again, this isn't at my higher end of my register, which is good because I'm starting off with a song in my set, so I wouldn't want anything too severe to sort of start with, otherwise I wouldn't feel comfortable, my voice might crack because I'm not used to it, and it would just be a mess. So my warm-up, the warm-ups I use for this song are Mrs. Puggy Wuggy. This is quite an odd one, not many people have heard of it at all, and it's basically a tongue twister, but quite an easy one, but obviously with an easy one you can go faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and it makes sure your breath, you stretch out your diaphragm, and you won't struggle with the song. And the next one is Pheasant Plucker, which is a tongue twister to help with diction. And then the next one is She Stood Upon, which is another not very well heard of one, but it includes very, very big words that excuse me that mean that you get your mouth around those vowels and the consonants just to try and make sure that you're saying every single letter in the word. Then I have What a To Do, which is just quite a fast-paced breath control, diction control. It's just sort of like an all-in-one. So you just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and it helps. It helps you enunciate your words better. So your T's will sound better. Everything will sound polished and clear, which is kind of what you want for this song. This song is full of emotion, especially with the lyrics that I'm using, the Bob Dylan lyrics as well as the Animals lyrics. Because I use Bob Dylan's lyrics because it says, "Girl, you are." It says in the song you're singing about yourself, and the lyrics were about a woman, a girl. So I thought, oh, that's perfect because I am one, and I wanted to make sure that I could get the story across, and I wanted to be able to like connect with the song in one way, because obviously the story I don't live in New Orleans. I'm not married. I'm not connected to any of it apart from that I'm female, but I know what the emotion is, and I know what the story is trying to convey, and I just think that it's a stunning song to start with, I think. My belting notes in this song have vastly improved from when I started practicing. This song has, I think, been the only song throughout my set that I have kept from the beginning. From the get-go I said, right, I'm doing this song just because I love it so much and I know that I can do it well. So my belting notes have vastly improved since I started. I'll probably insert a clip somewhere in my blog to show where I started and where I am now. I can hold the notes much stronger and longer as well. I don't run out of breath, which makes such a better sound, especially as it's quite a haunting song. You don't want to sort of fade out into nothingness. You don't want it to sound weak. The whole idea is that you're a strong person. You've made mistakes, but you're a strong person. You're still standing, which is what I want to convey in that song. What I need to work on that song, I don't think there's anything I really need to work on. I'm sure there are things, but none that I can actually think of, because I've worked on this song for many years now. But after following the schedule, I've definitely found out that with my chosen warm-ups that I've made a quicker improvement than what I usually would with just a normal song that I didn't do any special warm-ups to. My next song is We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off by Ella Eyre. This is an emotional and slow-paced song, but it's filled with long, powerful notes. But the rhythm, again, it's the rhythm. The rhythm is quite a jolty rhythm. So you'll go from what I mean by that is you'll go from like quite a short line of lyrics, and then the next one will be like 10-15 words, and it's the same rhythm and you have the same amount of time to get those words out as the line before, so it can be quite challenging. Another thing is that sometimes for some reason I sound quite flat on some of the notes. I've never had that issue before. I've definitely improved on that since I started rehearsing. I'll probably insert another clip in. but yeah, I've definitely improved on my rhythm and on my lyrics. The lyrics I really struggled with. It was really odd. I never really struggle with learning lyrics. I'm usually quite good at that. I usually remember them really, really quickly. But this song, I just could not remember any of them. One day I'd be like, oh, I know everything, and then the next day I'll be like, I completely don't even know how it starts. I don't know anything, which is really odd. The vocal warm-ups I use to help in this song are tongue flexes, so north, south, east and west, and tongue press-ups, which is a bit weird, but because I need to get so many lines in that will lyrics need to be clear and crisp and understandable, diction and making sure that I enunciate my words is a big thing in this song. So I do loads of tongue twisters. Some of the previous ones that I've already mentioned in my other practice, my warm-ups for the other songs, and also Unique New York. I can't even say that normally, let alone do the warm-up, but it's really helpful when you get it right. Then I do the classic red leather, yellow leather. That's quite a simple one, but speed it up or slow it down, and say it in different ways. I say a lot. Sometimes I say a lot of these with different accents, just because I want to be able to make sure that any accent it would still be clear, which is I've always done that, which is really weird. And then the last one is floppy, fluffy, puppy. Quite hard to say, and quite hard to do, but they are probably they're quite well known, obviously, but I just do them over and over and over again, and that seems to really help with my diction and making sure that I get all of those words out clear and crisp. What else? The only again the issue that I already mentioned is the rhythm and timing sometimes. Also, the backing track is just purely piano, which is fine, but sometimes I get a little bit bored during the performance, which isn't what you want. But sometimes I'll sort of zone out and just be like, oh yeah, there's the bridge section here, I don't have to do anything, and then completely forget to come in, because it all sounds the same, so I can't distinguish between verse, this is the chorus, this is the verse, this is the bridge, this is the verse, this is the chorus, because so that's something that I need to work on. But I'm sure that once I get in front of like a little audience, couple of people, that will be a lot better, because I have something to perform. I have somebody to perform to. I'm focusing on doing my performance, not just practicing, not just going over and over on my own. I'm actually going to be performing it. I'm going to be standing up. Not that I don't anyway, but I'm going to be standing up and sort of projecting my voice and sort of trying to tell the story of each of these songs to the audience, which is something that I really, really enjoy doing. So I shouldn't get bored. My next song is At Last. This covers my whole vocal range except for my very top end. But this song requires a huge amount of breath control, something I didn't have when I first started practicing this song. I thought there'll be a dollar, I can do it. It's only, it's only At Last. Everybody knows it. Everybody can do it. No, very, very wrong. Especially as during the first verse, it goes up and up and up. It swoops, but it also goes down at the same time on certain notes. So it'll go up and then down and up and down and up and down. Which can be quite difficult, especially if you're holding that on one note. It's one note and you have to do riffs up and down. You need a lot of breath control for that. So I use I'll Buy a Teapot again, Horse Blows, and I also use One by One, They All Went Away, which is where you add another number to one by one. So you go 1 by 1 and 2 by 2 and 3 by 3, etc., up to 10. And you have to do it all in one breath, and you have to project it at the same time, so you're using everything in your diaphragm, everything that you've got, to try and make sure that you hit the wall. So I aim for a wall and basically throw my voice at it to try and bounce it back. But it works really, really well. following on, one note to the wall, focus